been working in AFBI since 2004, and in 2014 I got moved to a new lab to help out with the work. From day one I was told that I would be below a male colleague who was the same grade as me. If I had any problems or any issues, to go to him. He was the only one that was ever invited to meetings that had to do with processes in the lab, and he would come back and kind of dictate what we would have to do from day to day. So that made me feel from the get-go really, really undermined. Also, how I dressed became a bit of an issue. The project leader would come into the lab if I say I was wearing, you know, maybe a skirt or a dress or something, and look me up and down and say, you know, Hollie, what are you doing to these boys? Which made me feel very, very uncomfortable. He would also make fun of my makeup and say that, you know, I was trying to be the boss if I was wearing maybe something, you know, like a bright lip colour, you know, which made me feel very uncomfortable. And also I had a pair of trousers that I would wear, and he would laugh and tell me I was wearing pyjamas, which made me feel like I was dressed inappropriately for work. So, you know, all of this made me feel very, very, you know, undermined in my position. The atmosphere in the lab had been very oppressive because there'd been a falling out between the male assistant scientific officer and my other colleague, Carole, who was also an assistant scientific officer. And I felt that there was bullying behaviours within the lab after this falling out. So I went to the project leader and told him about, you know, what was going on and, you know, how it was affecting the work. He promised at the time that he would, you know, sort it out and look into it, but nothing ever happened. In fact, the treatment of Carole got a lot worse as the project leader started kind of picking on her, and if she would do something, he would be in straight away, you know, kind of telling her off, or, you know, and because in the meetings it was only our male colleague that was going in, and he wasn't speaking to Carole or myself at the time. The work that had to be done wasn't being passed on to us, so we would get shouted at for not doing things that we didn't know we had to do. I feel vindicated. I feel that through the Equality Commission we were listened to. I don't think without them, you know, we would have been able to get this far. And, you know, AFBI have acknowledged that processes weren't followed, and, you know, things that shouldn't have happened to us did happen. And although we got a settlement, you know, what our main reason for coming to the Equality Commission was so that this didn't happen to anyone else. You know, it was a very, very stressful time in my life, and I never ever wanted to happen to anyone else. So I feel coming forth and speaking up about it will help other people, you know, feel that they can come forward.
I returned from maternity leave in September 2014, and I was moved to a different lab within the same department. From I got there, I noticed that there was changes, there was differences immediately made between myself and male colleagues that worked there. It was made clear to me when I began working that I would have to take orders, and if I had any issues, go to a male colleague who was of the same grade as me. Situations escalated in the lab where this became difficult. I had done my degree in microbiology, and I felt that I was a very competent worker, but the way that I was treated made me feel that I wasn't valued and that my opinion didn't really count, when I knew it did. So when I broached these issues with my senior scientific officer, he wasn't happy that I had brought it to his attention and didn't like that I had raised the issues with him, and from then got even more angrier with me for bringing these issues up.
The Equality Commission is very disappointed to understand that 40 years since we've had legislation making sex discrimination in employment unlawful, that experiences such as those of Carole and Hollie still continue. We are delighted to have been able to assist them and to come to a resolution. The compensation which they have achieved is quite substantial, and I think reflects the very difficult position both of these women found themselves in. It is of course important that the message which comes out of this, which is that kind of behaviour will not be tolerated in this day and age, is something we will follow up, not just with the Agri-Food and Bio-Sciences Institute, but with other employers, especially employers who are working in the area of science and technology. And we will work hard with them to ensure that this type of thing does not happen again.